Surely there comes a day when you're just resigned to it, thought Kat, when the negativity becomes so rote that you don't even notice it. But that moment kept eluding her, and she felt bruised by every cruel comment her husband doled out, by the lack of attention, by the overwhelming sensation of hate that left her imagining endless horrible deaths for him. She should have left long ago, back when she'd still had a chance. At a career, another marriage, kids. 37 might not seem old if your life was your own, but Kat had signed hers away years ago. She was almost 30 when she clued in to her parents' admonitions that she couldn't just run home. Their response to her crying phone calls in the early months of her marriage was simply a long-married couple's reaction to the seemingly overwrought hysterics of a young girl, settled down before she'd fully grown up. If they'd truly known the verbal abuse and emotional rejection she received from Adam, from the entire Phillips family, she came to believe that they would have helped her, would have welcomed her back, encouraged her to pursue that PhD in art history. Hi guys, it's Zach, and if you're watching me, it must be Wednesday. This week on the Closet Collab, we were talking about partner and spousal abuse, and that reading that I just did was from this book called The Friday Night Knitting Club, a novel by Kate Jacobs, and it's just this little part about this character in this novel who has experienced some spousal abuse, not physically, but verbally and emotionally. She's abused by her husband, who calls her fat and always talks to her about, and he objectifies other women, like, straight to her face. He objectifies her. He has affairs, and basically, like, she is really smart and didn't do, like, she didn't, like, get a job. She basically was, like, just his pet, and she, at this point in the book, she is kind of backed into a corner because she really knows she needs to leave him. Obviously, she's known for years by the time of that reading, that passage, but she's afraid to because he has all her money. She has never had a job. She doesn't have a life basically without him, but he also treats her very badly. And that was just an example. I honestly don't have any real-world examples for myself, but I think it's a really good topic to bring up. I'm glad we're doing that this week, and Carly, Renee, and Jackie, and the others have all shared some really important information with you guys that I hope you found useful. If you know anyone, or if you yourself are in a situation that you need to get out of. I don't have a lot of resources, but I just want to say that it's I think it's really important for the LGBT community to talk about this issue, because for me I think it's one that's a big issue in our community potentially, because I feel in a way that so many of us may have been in the closet for so long that by the time we were ready to come out of the closet, or maybe we're still in the closet, but looking for a relationship, and we're so desperate for that connection with someone that maybe some of us are clinging so hard to that relationship that we find ourselves in, that even if it's a bad relationship and there is some emotional, physical, sexual abuse going on, that we're too afraid to let go because we're done being rejected by other people, and finally someone accepts us, even though it may come with a price. Why don't we stick with it? And I just think it's so important to know that you definitely should not stick with it. Leave the situation. There is so much better out there. And I hope just everyone can think about that and know that for themselves. Which brings me to the other thing I want to mention about abusive situations is, one way to really avoid them, I think, and this is me, and maybe I'm talking out my butt, and you can respond, but I think you should just know yourself. I think a lot of people in and out of the LGBT community are so focused on getting into a relationship, and they don't take the time to know themselves. That's another big theme in this book that I've been reading, is know yourself before you become or like get yourself into a relationship, because it's so easy to lose yourself in someone else, whether they're abusive or not. And you need to be able to know what makes you happy and what hurts you. You need to know your limits. Well, you have to know when that line between joking around and pain or hurt, permanent hurt, is where that line is for you. I would keep thinking about my other example, my only other example that I have fresh in my mind of abuse, which is on Grey's Anatomy when Christina gets strangled by her boyfriend, who is the Iraq trauma doctor, and he's got the PTSD, and he doesn't know that he's doing this, like he's like dreaming, and like everyone wants Christina to leave him, but she knows, because she knows herself, and she actually says to him, I know my limits, let me tell you when I've had enough. I'm not saying, like, take it, bitch, but, you know, she knows her limits. She knows that he didn't mean it, like, honestly didn't mean it, and they, like, then went to therapy, and, like, you know, she told him basically, like, you know, we're not gonna be seeing much of each other until you figure this out, and so that's what you need to do. You need to stand up for yourself, lay the groundwork, leave if you need to, you know, get a third party involved if you need to. Basically, you know yourself, know what you want and what you don't want, and express those wants and needs to the other person. So you can definitely check out the numbers and websites on Jackie and Carly Renee's videos. If you haven't watched those, please check them out. And lastly, I just want to shout out to Kaylin831, who was the winner of my challenge 2 weeks ago, who really was the only non-collab person to guess what I was for Halloween, which was Miss Piggy that last year. So hey Kaylin, everyone check Kaylin out. And then if you want to see Halloween photos from this year, go check out my channel, Ferdy Bull. I'll put the link in the side, and you can see a couple photos. Alright, thanks guys, and we'll see you next week.